Hello, my fellow Americans and the rest of the YouTube world. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. I may have spoken about this before, but I'm going to speak about it again. You do not have a right to health care. It's just that simple. It's not a right. There's nothing in nature that says you have a right to health care. Nothing. Because if you think you have a right to health care, what you are saying is that you have a right to take away from somebody else because you need something. You have a right to confiscate their property because you need something. You need to go to the doctor, you go in and confiscate their money. Because you realize we all have a gun to our head. You might not see it, but if you don't pay your taxes, they're going to be sending those black Suburbans with a bunch of revenue agents with guns to apprehend you. Don't pay your taxes, you will see people with guns. It's just that simple. Taxation is theft. It's just under government. I mean, if I was all powerful and I said, hey, if you don't pay me, I'm going to throw you in my barn, lock you up. Well, guess what? If you don't want to get locked up, you pay me. Why? Because I was all powerful. It's the same thing. But, you know, we've just been bamboozled our whole life into believing this stuff. That, you know, we should pay taxes. And then there's all these other arguments, but we can talk about that another time. The fact of the matter is, when it comes to health care, you do not have a right to health care. It's not guaranteed in the Constitution. So my good buddy Mikey was saying, well, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yeah, but you get to pursue your happiness. You don't get to have a doctor take care of you and have somebody else pay for it. I mean, you just don't have that right. And all those Bernie Sanders burnouts, I mean, they're a bunch of communists. Because that's what communism's all about. And you see, if you don't learn these things, then you'll believe anything. If you don't know nothing, then you'll believe just about anything, because you don't know. So if you don't know something and somebody tells you, it's like, oh, okay. Especially if you don't do any critical thinking and ask some questions and ask to see some evidence or logical proof or some facts, some data. But it's just a really sad thing that we've got millions of people believing they have a right to health care. You don't have, just like they want to have a right to a college education. You don't have that right. You need to earn it. Work for it. Then you'll appreciate it. I mean, granted, in today's world it might be a little bit harder than when I came along. But, you know, that's just the luck of the draw. But I earned it. I believe my father paid for the first 3 or 4 semesters, and I paid for the last 3 or 4. I can never remember which exactly. But it taught me a lesson. Taught me how to manage my money. Taught me I need to go out there and earn my way and not look for a handout. You know, I didn't have a scholarship. I didn't get any grants. I could have, but I didn't. I earned it. Every penny of it. So I even helped my father during the summers, and that was, you know, he paid for the college, I worked for him. I earned it. But this whole idea that these have a right to health care, I mean, you might as well just walk up to me and go, hey, I got to go to the doctor, give me $500. Because that's, in essence, what you're doing. And I know some people love Obamacare because without it, you know, they might be dead, they might be crippled, lame. So to them, oh yeah, it was a godsend. But the thing is, I don't think they really take any time out to think about who actually paid for it. that there was somebody getting up, going to work, doing a job, and getting taxed and paying for them. I don't think they really think about that. I don't think that thought even crosses their mind once. They just think, oh, I got a right to it. You know, tax the rich. Oh, if somebody makes $3 million, tax them at a 90% rate. You know, take $2.7 million from them. Are you kidding me? Just really burns me up when people talk about that. Because what it means is that the culture, the American culture, has been perverted, diverted. I mean, where's self-pride? Self-respect. You know, when you earn something, you feel good about it. If it's given to you, yeah, it's nice. You might appreciate it for a while, but it's a whole lot different. I mean, if somebody gives you a car, hey, you might take care of it, but hey, if you had to go, you know, bust your hump for a year or two to save up to buy a vehicle, probably a used vehicle, then you had to put some blood, sweat, and tears in it, you know, a little Napa know-how, some O'Reilly factor, getting it to run, changing the oil, fixing the brakes, tuning it up, cleaning it out, installing a decent stereo, you're going to appreciate that car. As opposed to something, you see all these young kids, their rich daddies give them a Vet or a Mercedes or a Beamer, and they wind up wrapping it around telephone poles. They don't appreciate it. Because their daddy will buy them a new one. But, you know, if they had some old Ford Mustang or, you know, some Honda Prelude or something that they bought used and fixed up, I think they take care of it a little bit more. So the whole point is that people, you do not have a right to health care. And if you think you do, then you really need to wake up and smell the tyranny.